The mysterious house in the heart of a small, fog-covered town stood an old, decrepit house. Its windows were shattered, and the paint had long since peeled away, leaving the wooden boards exposed to the elements. The townspeople whispered about the house, calling it cursed, haunted, and a place of unspeakable horrors. No one dared to venture near it, especially after sunset. One crisp autumn evening, a curious teenager named Alex decided to uncover the truth about the mysterious house. Armed with a flashlight and a notebook, Alex approached the house with a mixture of excitement and trepidation. The gate creaked loudly as he pushed it open, and the overgrown garden seemed to reach out with thorny fingers, trying to hold him back. As Alex stepped onto the porch, the wooden boards groaned under his weight. He took a deep breath and pushed the front door open. It swung inward with a loud, eerie creak. The air inside was musty, filled with the scent of decay and neglect. Alex's flashlight beam cut through the darkness, revealing cobwebs hanging from the ceiling and dust particles dancing in the air. The first room he entered was the living room. Old, tattered furniture was scattered about, and a grand piano stood in one corner, its keys yellowed with age. Alex approached the piano and pressed a key. The sound that emerged was hauntingly beautiful, echoing through the empty house. He shivered and moved on. In the hallway, Alex noticed a series of old photographs hanging on the wall. They depicted a family from a bygone era, a stern-looking man, a woman with sad eyes, and two children. The faces seemed to follow him as he walked past, sending chills down his spine. He continued exploring, finding a library filled with dusty books and a kitchen with rusted appliances. Each room seemed to hold its own secrets, but nothing particularly sinister. Alex began to wonder if the stories about the house were just exaggerated tales to scare children. As he climbed the creaky staircase to the second floor, he heard a faint whispering sound. He paused, straining to listen, but the sound stopped. Shaking off his unease, he continued to the top of the stairs. The second floor was even more dilapidated than the first, with holes in the floorboards and wallpaper peeling off the walls. Alex entered a bedroom and found an old diary on the nightstand. The cover was worn, and the pages were yellowed with age. He opened it and began to read. The diary belonged to a girl named Emily, who had lived in the house many years ago. Her entries spoke of loneliness, fear, and strange occurrences in the house. She wrote about hearing voices, seeing shadows, and feeling an oppressive presence. As Alex read, he felt a growing sense of dread. The diary ended abruptly, with Emily writing about a final, terrifying night when she heard footsteps approaching her room. The last entry was smeared with ink, as if she had been interrupted while writing. Suddenly, Alex heard the whispering again, louder this time. He turned around, shining his flashlight into the darkness. The beam illuminated a figure standing in the doorway, a young girl with hollow eyes and a pale face. She stared at him for a moment before disappearing into thin air. Heart pounding, Alex stumbled back, dropping the diary. He had to get out of the house. He raced down the stairs, but the front door slammed shut before he could reach it. Panic set in as he tried to open it, but it wouldn't budge. The whispering grew louder, filling his ears with unintelligible words. Desperate, Alex ran to the back of the house, hoping to find another way out. He entered the basement, where the air was even colder and the darkness seemed to press in on him. As he searched for an exit, he tripped over something and fell to the ground. His flashlight rolled away, leaving him in complete darkness. He felt a cold hand on his shoulder and heard a voice whisper, "You shouldn't have come here," Alex screamed and scrambled to his feet, blindly searching for the flashlight. When he found it, he shone the beam around the basement, but there was no one there. With renewed determination, Alex found a small window and managed to pry it open. He squeezed through and tumbled out into the overgrown garden. He didn't stop running until he was far away from the house, his heart still racing. The next day, Alex returned to the house with a group of friends, determined to prove that he wasn't crazy. But when they arrived, the house was gone. In its place was an empty lot, overgrown with weeds. There was no sign that a house had ever stood there. The townspeople were baffled, but Alex knew the truth. The house had been real, and so had the ghost of Emily. He never spoke of his experience again, but he couldn't shake the feeling that the house was still out there, waiting for its next victim. The end.